Okay, so I guess who would like to, has anyone got any questions or wants to get the ball rolling about anything that you've seen over the last 2 days? Dan?
Well, just carrying on from Michael, the guru effect. We've been talking about one-hole payments for the last months. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, what's he been doing, and where do you think it's heading?
It's an interesting question. Citibank's very focused on mobile payments, and there's a big team in New York that's actually formed that's actually looking at that. We're actually right now involved in 27 markets in mobile payments. I think the biggest challenge for Citibank, for someone like me, and I have to explain to my local business, is when you look at the opportunities of mobile payments, when a global organisation looks at it, the biggest opportunity sits in the emerging markets because there's a percentage of the unbanked population. So when they put their business case together, and when they did put it together, the biggest discussion point I had is people said, well, look at where Australia is. Don't they know how important mobile is to Australians? But they went, well, look at the business opportunity in Brazil, look at the business opportunity in Malaysia and those markets, and that becomes a challenge. So right now we've got 27 markets that are rolling out or have rolled out mobile payments. The next part of our strategy is to look at how they perform and then move that forward. The other benefit for us is I'll have that technology because we are on a very true globalisation. So just because those technologies exist in other markets, for me it becomes a bit like a shopping cart. I'll get to the point where I'll just take that off the wall and put it into our platform, and it doesn't take the work that will need to happen. So I'll have that infrastructure waiting for me, but that team will control how we actually roll it out into our market based on the best benefit we will get on their learnings across all that. So it's a big team, it's a massive focus. They spend a lot of money investing in Google Wallet. They know what the results came out of it, and I'm exposed to some data that's so amazing that this stuff is going to take off, but it's still a lot of challenges ahead.
Okay. Can you share any of that with us? I mean, do you have any thoughts on the direction?
I suppose the key thing is all the research, and they've done a lot of research across these markets, is consumers it's not something they wake up every day and want to do, But when you do look at the emerging markets, they look at it very differently. When you look at that data, it's a very different speak. They go, this is really important because they're not thinking about it like us, that it's just another way to pay for something we've purchased. They think about it as another way to transfer money between their families and their friends, that actually open the doors to children's education, to those sort of emotional drivers that make it in those markets. When you look at those emotional drivers that's come out of the research, it's like we need this thing. We need it to happen for our country, for our family. In Australia and in other developed markets, we're not saying I need mobile payments for my family, for my country, I need it. There's a very big emotional difference. So as a bank, they've got to make a decision to obviously business opportunity. They've also got to be careful that the decisions doesn't impact their market position in the developed markets as well. So it's a big challenge, but they'll get there eventually. But it's very interesting on the emotional side.
Okay.
Just a question about the online verification stuff. The guy usually said we should be capturing customers by the time they're 17. What have they got behind them that you can use to identify them and get them in a real-time mode? What can you use to check, go from where they are, credit history?
Yeah, that might be one of them. Because I'll just use a random example. Just very quickly, our match rates here are exactly right. One, we don't offer our account for under 18s because for that reason too, our match rates are virtually. Yeah, so it's an interesting one too.
Yeah. So what some customers do is that they will have a separate rule for those younger demographic, and they will use things like proof of age cards that are issued by the various states because you're right, they might not have a driver's license, they won't have a credit card. Where we are currently looking at student cards as well. So again, we have to put that through an independent reliability test. I mean, we've got to be comfortable with it before you're fully going to be comfortable with it. We're also doing some trials. Also doing some trials with an organisation in the their social media footprint. So we've been running some test data on that. Though I would imagine that's still probably a couple of months off before we come to a conclusion of it.
That's interesting. Neville?
Yeah, just interested from the panel as to the process you have in your own environments about allowing staff to use their own mobile devices in your network.
Who's going to answer that one?
Well, Westpac, you don't, you can't. I mean, that's the, you actually don't.
What do you mean, Wi-Fi onto your work network?
Oh, that or more and more iPads, I think, there's an expectation, that's my device, I should be able to bring it to work and engage at work, and I think that's there's something that's a bit of a anomaly there where we're actually out into the consumer saying it's going to be as easy as anything that we say to our staff, we don't trust you to bring your own device and access our network. Put it out there.
Banks aren't quite strict around the network, but I think it's more from the concerns of what people are, it's more that social concern, what we can actually be doing. That's probably some part of it, because like, are they going to be spending all their time on Facebook or Twitter and not being productive as one element? I know if you look at the firms that are the most innovative firms that aren't financial services, that are, they use these tools to connect and have conversations, and there's some amazing examples, and you only have to go so far as to look. I know there was the guys from Deloitte here speaking. I think the way that they apply those whole lot of tools into their networks and the way they do innovation is a global example. So what I've seen is fantastic. But I know from our perspective, we're a global organisation and they're trying to open the doors up, and that's going on. But it's a real focus to, I would actually probably see a very different landscape in the next 12 months in City, one that probably won't expect, because they realise that they have to, they have to open up those doors. There's Wi-Fi networks being set up in the offices. There's allowance now letting people to start to access the social sites. So I've got full access, my whole team does, and but soon you'll find that to be a lot more common. So I think it's exciting that we'll get to that point.
The interesting thing I read the other day on iPads in business is Qantas pilots have one sitting on their lap, and that's their maps. So they are entering big business. Everyone's using the eye technology, because it's got unique characteristics that combine it to your business network. You lock the relationship between the iPad and the user a lot tighter than what you probably can PCs and laptops. So I think they'll be in big business everywhere. It's just a matter of time.
So the question I have is, Qantas pilots are using that whole concept where turn off your device because it interrupts you. Well, are they interrupting it? Back up.
I can tell you what we've done at Pascal in the last year or so is we've gone off of BlackBerry and on iPhone, and you can now actually bring your own device as long as it's an iPhone. So it limits it to a certain degree, but you can bring your own device and get onto the corporate email and whatnot. Obviously, we have a lot of financial data that can't be exposed, but we're also looking at how we manage some of our internal knowledge and communications around that, to open that up a little bit within a closed environment.
And we use the same RAMs actually. RAMs are allowed, staff are allowed to have their own Wi-Fi and access email and things like that, but not Westpac.
Yeah, I think at Suncorp we have, quite a few flavors. So we have our corporate iDevices, so we get those completely synced up to Exchange, so I can put it in through email. We've had access anywhere, so in terms of working from home, so that just goes via the Citrix network. So the guys have done a lot of work on that, especially 2 years ago when we had the flood. So basically in Brisbane, they sent 2,500 staff home, so it was from Brisbane was deserted. We had up nearly 3,000 staff logging onto the network. So I think Paul Cameron, who heads up our enterprise IT area, he does have a case study lying around in terms of that. A lot of work in the BYOD space as well, in terms of getting your phone and your tablet to access basically the Citrix network, and essentially it's just a cloud-based desktop that we offer that has Outlooks and Office and various applications there. So I think the ongoing challenges is, we can have a cloud-based web network, works fine on iDevices, but Android's always run up, so we get a lot of feedback coming through with staff wanting to sync up their
haven't actually launched it yet, have you?
No, it's
So
in
is
development.
that interest?
So as that, yeah, so we currently have a separate back-end site, a desktop site. So main drivers for us, so pretty much we have a new content management platform. A main feature is a lot of work in the responsive space. So for us, it's purely overhead, so we're not able to actually manage content on essentially dual platforms. Great benefit from SEO, so in terms of one responsive URL, that's generally favoured a lot better from Google's perspective. So in terms of not having to spend SEO and SEM across mobile and desktop space, so a lot of it is basic optimization for sort of search and management overhead. Obviously that's UX is a big part too, so we can sort of traffic coming through between tablet and mobile. Big piece for us is to increase our online sales, and we're seeing, like last week we saw about 12% of our customers are actually trying to apply for an account on our big desktop app on the phone. Now that's, I can safely say, the most painful experience they can go through, yet customers are still going through the funnel. So if we actually get around to optimising between the content promotion we did and the actual online origination, once we get that looking in very strict, yeah, we're pretty keen to see the numbers roll in. So.
I guess if we take a look at it, we only relaunched our website only about a year and a bit ago, so the website's been, the content was already repurposed or redone, so it's very short and distinct. So what we've done with our mobile site is all the content's just repurposed, so we only have to update it in one spot and all gets repurposed in the mobile, so it's all like, there's no extra work we have to do for our mobile site at all, and that's the key because with Westpac has so many different sites and there's so much different things just make it updated because you've got to update here, there, you know. So the key for us for our mobile site was that all the content is repurposed from the main site, we update it once. So when we went to redoing our main site a year ago, we made sure the content was very brief, distinct, and actually reused on the mobile site. So that's what was the key for us. And of course, then all the forms now are mobile-friendly forms.
So there's two separate pieces of content. You've got content on the site, content on the mobile, but the mobile is just repurposed rather than the site.
Same content, it's just repurposing the same content. We just made sure we did our main site a year ago, that we did the content very short and distinct, that we could use it on the mobile. So are about 10 pages, everything is just repurposed straight onto our mobile site. And it's key for updating. You know, the guys only have to update in one place. And you've got to make sure your CMS allows you to do that, and ours does.
Would you ever consider going responsive?
Well, I think that's something everyone's looking at in the future, yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? I agree. But the only thing is, yet, I don't think you've seen too many sites that are especially built for an iPad, too many websites today that is built for an iPad. I mean, there's apps, but there's no real banking websites that are really safe. I mean, I don't really think there's too many banking websites that are just built for an iPad. You know, the banks are still coming to grips with actually launching a internet banking on an iPad. I think in Australia, really, like Westpac has a full internet banking iPad app that you actually use to drag and drop properly, so the banks haven't really moved to that. So I don't think content yet. This is like my only personal opinion. I don't think content for an iPad yet needs to be just purposes purely for an iPad. Because your website, to me, at the moment, works fine on an iPad. Forms, you could do some smart things on the forms now.
We've actually found, I mean, if you start looking at NPS, you'll see one of the things, it does sort of surprise me when we talk about comparing against other markets. If you look at bank NPS for all the major banks, mobile is the worst, right? It's -40s to -60s. No one's even going past neutral. They're keeping that whole part that they don't like it. And you think about the banking applications there, you go, why? You know, obviously they're comparing it against probably the experience of Facebook. We have actually found that dissatisfaction on our channels, you know, are caused by tablet. Okay, so your mobile consumers, okay, the people ranking your mobile, they're trying to use that mobile app on their tablet. You know, they don't like it. Okay, the same thing. The desktop we found a couple of years ago, people were a little bit more conscious about I can use the you know, your browser base for internet banking on my tablet and it works. Okay, but now their expectations are changing quite frankly because everything else is an iPad app. So we're only probably 2 weeks away from launching our fully responsive because we've looked at that and gone, well, we need to adapt it to tablet. We're probably on April 21st, hopefully we'll be rolling out our tablet banking, which is repurposed from the US. Our US rollout, they've rolled out Kindle and they've rolled out tablet, and the satisfaction scores from driving that, from rolling out those two, particularly the tablet, you know, the tablet banking. I know it's got a few awards and all that. I say don't make awards judge whether it's good or not, because I think most awards you can, you know, repurpose to win part. The satisfaction scores since they've rolled out tablet and where the satisfaction across mobile and internet banking have gone up, but it's been driven back tablet. So from where we've seen, the tablet does actually play a really important role to drive the dissatisfaction because the way that they're trying to use the tablet. So at least for us, in a couple of weeks we'll have fully responsive. So we'll have tablet purpose pages. We won't have all the tablet purpose application forms, which I think is a big gap. We'll have our tablet banking, okay? But when Westpac rolled out their tablet banking too, most consumers whinged about it because they went, oh, this is all you're going to give us. And that's our next risk. You roll out tablet, you're not going to find, so you're not getting all the features because you've probably got technology resources and limitations and usability and a whole other things you need to do about it. But obviously what happened at Westpac and everyone went, holy crap, it is a purpose, it's a purpose-built tablet. The only one out there is Combat, we've got a purpose-built, but everyone complained about it and said, oh, this is crap. It's not crap, I think it's not too bad actually. But then I'm sort of nervous now that we roll out our tablet solution and people are going to go, oh yeah, this is, you know, I mean, dissatisfied over here, but you give them this and now they're going to go, oh, I want more. And that's our biggest thing, because we give them mobile pay, we give them pay bill, DB pay, but we don't give them probably other things that they're expected that they've probably got off engaging with Facebook and the other things.
The interesting thing I really find with that though is with the internet when it was first launched, the best thing it had for internet banking after the first iterations was everyone had the latest version. There are no dramas with people having the latest version or like. Now we're going this app route that's bringing this whole problem again with people having old versions. And it's funny thing that it's gone full cycle where we've got people now, especially for internet banking, it's a problem with the security issues or whatever. You've got these customers who are having versions of apps that are old, so it's an interesting thing. I don't know how it's, you know.
But one of the other biggest challenges is those customers that buy those $50 smartphones, right? And you can do everything. We test, I don't mean we test over probably, we've got up to about 200 phones we test on that. But we didn't test on that $50 nasty that someone's bought on a prepaid, and they're the one who's now complaining to the CEO about, look how my screen was on this $50 nasty. And they take a screenshot and they send it, it becomes a presidential complaint, and you're told to fix it. So we go, not just also do the latest versions, it's like how do you optimise for all these devices and these, you know, and these really cheap and nasty phones that are starting to appear, they serve a purpose, but geez, they make a challenge.
Well, I was enjoying about saying last year we've got 18 physical test devices, we're emulating about 160. So we can automate that from a testing point of view. So half the hack is just going to automating that, and literally we have people sitting on 16 different phones because we can only go so far. So testing user interface. And they got the cheapest phone is an LG phone running Android 2.2. We bought it for about $39 a JD. That's basically if it works on that, it won't do anything. So we have to test it. We see the stats and we have people who still use that phone. So we're trying to do these lovely schmick high resolution designs, and then we've got to cram it into a little tiny screen for those entry level phones because we know that's basically how Android is selling. They have the high-end ones, but that's the dodgy old Nokia replacement model. They're the ones that are flushing out Nokia, so they're the ones that still get a lot of use as well from mums and dad customers who don't want an iPhone, but they don't want to spend a grand on a phone. So, yeah, testing apps, it's not pretty, it's a lot of work.
And I use my example, I just said to you, I suppose, is, you know, because the guys who are driving our development is one customer, so, and it wasn't just one, it was a group at Apple, you know, passionate Apple customers, when one of our releases back in about 2010, they took a screenshot of the actual homepage, and when you then expanded that screenshot, the logo pixelated. And how dare, and you know, like this was all new experiences, like 2009, 2010, how dare you take this amazing screen and you give us a logo that pixelated when you take a screenshot and expand it, okay? And they had to make it really big, but it pixelated. And it became a concern. There was chatter on it, there were forums that created where people discussed how dare we program like amateurs. So I sent it across to our development teams. I said, do not ever let this happen again. And they have to manage for that now. So there's a test where they have to take a screenshot and make it large to see if there's any pixelation. And also we can't, at least in our market, I say Australians are fickle. I say we've got great features, we've got a great lifestyle, so we've got to find something to complain about. That's how I made that explanation back to the guys in the US, because they were like, "You kidding me?" Right? But I went, "Oh, we've got to find something to complain about, but do not give me a solution that looks like that now, because you know that's a challenge I basically have."
That's good. Just over here.
Yeah, I just a question on real-time payments. We heard yesterday that payments between institutions will become real-time by 2016. I'm just wondering if you guys have any thoughts or any plans in the pipeline for taking advantage of any opportunities that might provide banks?
Everyone's being quiet.
Yeah, okay. I'll try that one. The committee has come out with a statement a couple of weeks ago in front of the site that is very light on and a bit high level, but it kind of says there's going to be a central utility that will be developed over the next few years to allow ADIs to plug into it. There will also be an addressing service sitting next to that that will allow us to do some of these, aids that go money or pitching type things to send a payment to an email address or a mobile phone number. That's going to be the kind of core functionality, which I think is quite good. It allows for the things that payments need to be, which is ubiquitous, secure, and centralized, to do that. What everyone else is going to do in terms of plugging into that and overlaying services and creating new products and on top of that, it's anybody's guess at this time. We're just starting to see the early stage of the conversations around that. But it's, I think there's opportunity there. But in the first instance, it's going to be about, well, how do we plug in? How do we get connected? And for us, obviously, at Cuscout, we have a lot of financial institutions that hook into us for payments. So it's going to be about how do we centralize that connectivity for them.
But it's a huge opportunity. We have 30 countries around the world. At least we can have 2 Citibank accounts. It's instant transfer. So you could have someone standing at an ATM in India, and I could log on to the mobile right now. I could transfer money to their account, and I'll have that money straight away into their account. And that's the biggest driver of our, I suppose, our globality. Our target market is the affluent, emerging affluent, globally minded, but those people who have that global interest in relation to, well, I've got an account over here, I've got an account over here. The India-Australia corridor is an amazing corridor for money just to move back and forth. And that drives a whole lot of customers for Citi because they've got that instant ability of moving money through all these markets instantly. So, it's like, and that's a huge benefit that those customers who have accounts in other markets find. So if you start to open that to every other part of the banking environment, it's an amazing opportunity. So interesting to see how people think about adapting to it.
Okay, Andrew.
And I think one of the other points to consider is to slice and dice the market a bit. So one of the key questions that I've been asking and that's been current for a while is, what are consumers prepared to pay for a real-time payment? And the answer, I think, depends on what you're using it for. So I think if you think about buying a car or even settling a house, the use case and the price point that a consumer would be prepared to pay for the simplicity that a real-time, irrevocably guaranteed payment would provide would be quite large. $20, maybe even more. Certainly, the savings would be significant. But what am I prepared to pay to send you $20? What are consumers prepared to pay to split a bill after dinner? I think that's a much harder question, and I think consumers increasingly expect not to have to pay very much for it at all. There was certainly some research done around a while ago, and it's a bit old, but certainly some research done around by a large industry project that stopped a couple of years ago, that's name can't be mentioned, and that research suggests that once you get above kind of 40 cents, consumers, no, I'm getting ripped off. And then there are questions about the extent to which it will be bundled into existing pricing. I think there's lots of opportunities, but it'll play out. The great thing about the way the infrastructure's been delivered is that the middle is very skinny, and so it'll avoid all the politics and complexity that will get caught up in that. But the opportunity is for the innovation to occur outside, and pretty much anybody will be able to play in that space, but they'll only be able to participate in the network via an ADI because of concerns about introducing risk and systemic risk into the system.
Yep.
That's a question on smart TVs and banking and mobile banking. What are your thoughts on the smart TV apps? I thought
to stay on my radar, it's on my radar, in terms of priorities, I guess.
So you talk about the other day, what people see on watching TV, surfing on the couch, the smart TV in front of them. You can drive off the smart TV, the app off the TV, and everybody was at the mobile app into the app on TV.
I suppose it gets down to the consumer behaviour and what they're using the TV for to on the app. I mean, multi-screening is a big topic of conversation in relation to new strategies around multi-screening. I know there's strategies now. I think, I suppose the example at the top of my head is like the voice. They will put content in the ad breaks on the TV to drive people onto there. That they can pick up their tablet and, start that multi-screening to increase the engagement. And there's examples of how they're advertising. So I think when you look at all those studies, you look at that, you see how people actually, they say, well, you engage with the TV very differently, but then you engage with your tablet in another way, and it's about creating that connection. But I think when you think about your tablet, I mean, you think about your smart TV, you've also got to think about everything in your home that's got a display screen that is going to be in the future where everything's going to be connected. So your oven that's got a screen, your security system when you go out, we all think about the number of screens we have at home, and we'd probably say 3 or 4. You probably have 20, if you start counting the alarm clock. And I think it's the connectivity that's going to happen in this connected world. It's going to be about connecting all those screens that exist in your home. And then for us as banks, well, how do we create value or add value to people's daily lives? How do we utilise all those screens? But every screen will probably have a different, have a different role to play. So it could be that the alarm when you set it actually gives you your account balance. When you think about that, when you think beyond just the smart TV, I set my alarm and it says, don't forget you can have $400 on your credit card and you've got $2,000 in your savings account when you're about to go out the door. Maybe that's the point where we need to be thinking a little bit more than just people want to do their banking. To how do we utilise that engagement at that point in time to deliver a service that might mean they engage less with us, right, as a channel where they come to us, but they engage more with us because we're always in their face. And I think smart TV would be the same sort of thing. If I'm sitting back watching the TV, what role would we play in that would make it valuable? Because I'm going to do my banking, I'll probably pick up my mobile phone on tablet. And I think that's where you start to think of the whole different applications.
Samsung, you can go into the Samsung App Store and download an app like you do on the iPhone. So if you have a banking app, the screen's new, you can the TV at home. Just a presentation. You'd be better than watching it on the iPhone.
And that could be your choice. Other people might think, oh, my neighbour's looking through the window and seeing how much money I have. I mean, you'll have that same sort of different thing. But, it's like when you say you're building for Windows, you have to have a purpose, because once again, it's another infrastructure you've got to build for. It's another infrastructure you've got to test. It's another thing you've got to support. But it's not saying it doesn't have a purpose. So I think what we've got to be better at understanding is what is the best purpose for the customer. If it is that we want to do banking on it, then we need to look at making provisions because it will drive satisfaction. But how do we think differently that, when somebody's engaging, how could we do something that's banking related that maybe not, well, let's go and pay your bills, but you might not do that. But what other services could you offer through that? Which is the thing, I think, is where you think a bit differently.
I think you see gaming people use TVs, smart TVs for gaming more often. We've got stats that you see people not really doing banking, but they're doing gaming. They are doing payments through the TV.
Yeah.
And they're not using the keyboard, they're actually using the Wii's and the Xboxes. And that's how they're doing their whole gaming. So, it's just not marketed, but the gaming people are really driving that smart TV market, mainly in Europe. Well, I think you make a good point about the interaction that you have with the TV. So if I have to punch in my account number or BSB or something on a remote, I'm just not going to do it, right? When mobile banking first came out, it was SMS based, right? But the interaction with the phone in those days was punching in a bunch of characters and typing, get my balance to the bank and it would come back with the balance. But that didn't really take off because that wasn't a very good interaction. It wasn't a very good user experience. So I think we're kind of at a similar place now with the smart TVs. It's early days for them, and that will evolve, and you probably will start to see banking on your TV because as long as it's connected and you have that connectivity throughout all your devices, it is just another screen. It's a nice big one, right? So why not? But it's going to come back to that user interaction. So if you've got a gesture-based interface and people really start to gravitate towards that, they're doing some really interesting things these days with the accuracy of those things. So you will be able to get down to millimeters with what you're doing. And if you can start to have that kind of minority reports type of interaction, there's no reason why we wouldn't see that happening. But we're not quite there yet.
It could be if you like network customers, not that you like to talk about it, but it could be that they then have that experience dealing directly to their relationship manager through that channel, and that's the service that you focus on providing through that. Or, I know when I spoke about content strategy and the other parts about it, the only one thing is, I know, you do say that an organisation in the future is going to have its own media team, right? Because think about how we engage on video. We love video. People consume it like nothing else. How a brand's going to tap into it. The thing I fear most is banks will create a video channel or whatever and start talking about banking stuff. It's quite boring. That's my biggest fear. But we could talk about other interesting topics and add banking into it. But you could find that the strategy turns to the fact that people are engaging. We've got our own channel that we've set up that we deliver through that service. And it's thinking of the brand value now. And at the end, it could connect you through to a relationship manager or something along those sort of lines. And that's how I think, it's out there. It's not out there thinking, but it's thinking over the next few years of what you could adapt to that sort of service. Hard to execute, but something that could make that something valuable to a lot of people to do a unique strategy.
I think what we're doing, I guess the only real practical element is just working with our media agencies. So I guess we're trying to find out what's currently the intermediary channel, and at this point in time, the only app that can really control basically TV to mobile experience, like the Fangos and jump on it, and all the apps that support, you basically crack open the Fango app while watching Channel 7. So we can work with our media agencies, so when we do splash a Uncle Bank ad on TV, if they're in Fango, they'll basically see take over some banners, etc. in the app. So if the customer does have interest in whatever we're promoting, they can actually go through and see landing pages and inquire and potentially do some material there. So that's probably, I guess, the only practical use case. So like that said, Microsoft are doing it for work. There's no reason why we can't crack open the Connect SDK and start doing a touch-and-feely version of Internet banking on TV. I'm sure no one's done a 3D version of Internet banking yet. The knowledge is there. The practicality of it, I've seen your money fly out your face. Sounds pretty cool, but at the end of the day, when you're living in a living room with 4 other people and you're flapping your arms around transferring money, the practicality, I guess, of utilising a screen for more self-service banking, so you get to see. But in terms of transfer messaging for the first and second screen, I guess we're already sort of doing that by more traditional methods in terms of online advertising.
And Google's done a lot of studies on multi-screening, but one of the interesting ones is 75% of people are detracted from the primary screen when they multi-screen. 25%, it actually enhances only 25, 75 is detract. So when I start multi-screening on another screen, it probably goes back to that whole principle. And my wife always tells me, she says girls can, but boys can't, do more than one task at one time, from that perspective. But so even when you're pushing them to another screen or engaging another screen, it's actually detracting them from that other screen because we can't multitask. But there's definitely applications to it. I reckon multi-screening is the next really big exciting adventure that we can all go to, not just banks, but any organisation and industry, is you take that forward, because it's not just the screens, but how consumers are behaving amongst all the different screens and knowing that. And if you understand how they're behaving differently, and you can apply and customise to that, then that's when I think the real opportunity happens. And I think it's quite exciting. I think it's exciting the next few years around that concept.
Okay. All right, well, we're just about there for lunch, but I think we're going to sort of do a little bit of a wrap up. Dan, do you want to?
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I'm glad you guys took my advice last night and drank a big and burned up my credit card. Appreciate that. It's been really good. I learned some new words. Omni-channel. Atrophy was, I know atrophy, but in the context that Scott used it, and it was also used today a little bit about you got to let some of your legacy systems go, and not everyone can win when you change. I think those are some messages that we got to kind of take out, because I think we talked a lot about changes, and to me it's the tempo, and I think Nick really pushes that point really well of just how fast you got to make those changes, and you got to try something. That was my key takeaway from Scott's is try something every day, even if it's not that big, but try something. And I guess my message used to be, we'll take one thing away and do it, and I still think that's not bad. Why not take one thing away and do it? Hopefully you learn from our conference. But doing something every day, that's actually, you can take that into your life, and you can do that for your personal life. So I thought that was a good one. For me, and I said it the other night, that coming to a place like this is something we probably never used to dream about, but it worked out very well. I think it's been a great venue, and I really have to thank Siobhan, who you've been with about 6 months or something. She just owned this conference, and she's been there and did a fantastic job. Promoted the hell out of it. We've got great speakers and great attendance. Could have done it without you. So thanks very much.
Thanks so much, Dan. Everyone had a great time and enjoyed themselves. Thanks to all the speakers for coming as well. They've been great. It's very happy.
So yes, so we're wrapping up. I don't know if there's going to be plans. There's a lunch though we can still have. You're more welcome. Please join us for lunch. And I know a few people staying on, so I'm doing the same. So we'll see you around the cabanas there. And hopefully go back and do put some of these things into place. We love the feedback, as we said, as Barry said, I said. We want to listen, want to hear what the priorities are, because they obviously change. And we know there's a lot of things to be done, but let us know. Tell us what we're getting right. Tell us what we need to improve, and we'll listen and put it into place. So, and thanks again. Have a good weekend. Safe trip home.